When we walk with the Lord in the light of His Word, what a glory He sheds on our way. While we do His good will, He abides with us still, and with all who will trust and obey. Trust and obey, for there's no other way to be happy in Jesus but to trust and obey. Then in fellowship sweet we will sit at His feet, or we'll walk by His side in the way. What He says we will do, where He sends we will go. Never fear, only trust and obey. Trust and obey, for there's no other way to be happy in Jesus but to trust and obey. All right, a great old favorite, Trust and Obey. There aren't many hymns that are written like this one here. If ye continue in my word, Jesus said, then are ye my disciples indeed. John chapter 8 and verse 31. I'm going to take you to the board now and give you a rundown of what you need to know about this hymn. And get an old hymn book, ask your pastor first, then get yourself a pencil and mark some things in your hymn book. You want to mark at the top of your page that you're going to use the D chord, and then put your capo on the 3rd fret. If you do that, use the D family of chords, that'll put you into the key of F, and that's the key that this hymn is actually written in. I'm trying to help folks to be able to play on the guitar in the same key that the hymn is written in. That way, if you're playing along with other folks at church, or if you want to make sure you hit the right key, you'll be in the right place when you pick up your guitar to use it. Now, the 1 flat symbol means that you're in the key of F. This tells you what to do with your left hand. You're going to use the D family of chords. The time signature, 3/4, that top number tells you what to do with your right hand. The top number tells you that there's 3 counts per measure. So you're going to use a 3-count strum. Down here, you'll notice that I've written a basic strum pattern, 3/4, and if you strum 3 times per measure, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, that's really all that you have to do. I've done a little bit of a variation on that, but that's all you need to know. And then at the beginning of the song and at the end, I used a D chord over A, and that right there is your standard D chord, and then this 5th string here open means that that's the A note, so you want to make sure you sound that. So when we trust and O, and then A7 is on O, right there, the 5th string is open, do not use the 6th string. When we trust and O, and then you'd go back to the D chord. All right, I have here written in tabulature the strum that I'm using, and I'm using it on some of the chords, and it's this is the bass note. This would be the 1st count, 1 and this is kind of like another bass note to it. You can go, you'll go down on that with your pick. You can go down or up with this one, and then there's a strum. So this would be 1 and 2 3, 1 and 2 3. This symbol means to strum down. So strumming down on those 2 strings, strumming down on the 3rd count on these 3 strings. You can do that with the D chord in this song, and I was doing it a little bit with the D, with the A and the bass as well. Then we have an example of the trust and obey, how it looks in tab. Okay, I have my count down here, 1, 2, 3. When we trust and obey. So on trust, that would actually be Let me correct this quickly. That'd be a D over A. Okay. It'd be like that. When we trust and O, A7 on O, and then beg, your D chord, you hit that bass note. Now you don't have to do this, but this is just a little fancier way of making your guitar playing a little bit more interesting. So this is what that would sound like. All right, I hope this has been helpful. If you'd like, at this time I will sing through that first verse again, and I'll give you the chords. Take your pencil and then write these chords in above the words. And I do recommend doing this with pencil because later on you might want to go back and change it. So just for the sake of being able to erase it and fix your mistakes, you'll want to use a pencil. So when we walk, that's the D chord. With the, over the is A7. Lord, D chord over Lord. In the light, that's A, of His Word, D chord over Word. What a glory, G chord over glory. He sheds, D over sheds, on our way, A chord. While we do, D chord, His good, A7, will, D. He abides, that's A, with us still, D over still. And with all, G chord, who will trust, now that's D with the A and the bass, and O, A7, bay, that's the D chord. And then trust, that's A, the A chord, trust and obey, D chord. For there's no, now that's a B chord, it's a B bar chord. You can do it like this. My hands are a little bit big, so I do it like this. If you're familiar with power chords, it would be a power chord on the 2nd fret with your root note on the 5th string, and just lay your finger down. Just catch enough of it there to get the bass in there, and then to the E minor chord. You might say, well, I think I'll use the B7 chord there. You could, but technically it's not right. It's the B major bar chord. Then the B major bar chord is over no, the E minor is over way. To be happy, that's A7 in Jesus, D over Jesus. But to trust, that's D with the A and the bass. But to trust, that's just trust and O, A7, and then bay, D chord. All right, I hope this was a help to you, and God bless you. Thank you for subscribing to this podcast and YouTube channel.